Oh, wow. I'm so excited. Thank you for having me. I want to, thank the athletic director and Coach Estelle and Coach Madrid. Y'all have me out here feeling like a celebrity because I was just looking through, there's like 3 pages of people who have logged on. So I'm just like really excited about this and to share my story and just my experience being in Kingsville and Javelina Nation. First off, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Sherie Jackson. I'm originally from the Victoria, Texas area from a small town called Placido. We did not even have a stoplight, so it is smaller than a one-horse town. I went to Bloomington High School, which is 2A. It may be little, but we could play some ball. We went to state in 1994. I know that's a long time ago, and some of were y'all probably maybe 5 years old around then, maybe not even, I don't know. And so we went to state in basketball in 1994, and I also went to state in track in the 400. After I graduated high school, I went to a lot of junior colleges before I settled in at Kingsville. I was a little apprehensive about going to a big school at first. So I started off at Blinn, played basketball there, and then I transferred to a JUCO in Kansas, where we were really good. And I ran track and I won a national championship on the track team. And then I transferred to Kingsville, where Jill Wilson and Carrie Brinkater were the coaches.
I'm sorry, I accidentally muted you, Sherie. Can you unmute yourself? I'm sorry.
You mean I gotta say all that over again?
Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry.
So just start completely over? No one wants to hear that again.
You were talking, when I muted you, you were talking about your JUCO experience.
Oh, yeah, I went to school in Kansas and I started off at Blinn Junior College, 1 year there under Joe Curl, and Coach Estelle also coached for Joe Curl at University of Houston. Then I transferred out of state to Kansas, and I thought I was going somewhere, but it was so cold. And coming from Texas, where it doesn't snow, to going somewhere where it's just cold for no reason was like miserable. And I just knew I had to get back down south. And when I got the opportunity and I got recruited by Kingsville, I didn't even take any other offers. I wanted to come home where the sun always was shining. And, we close schools if it gets, colder than 70 degrees outside. So, one of the main reasons I chose coming back home to Texas and to Kingsville was because of the College of Engineering. I had always wanted to be an engineer, and it was my major. And at that time, Kingsville and also being in the A&M system afforded me the best opportunity to pursue the degree plan that I was most interested in. And at the time, I was a natural gas engineering major, and it was one of the top three programs in the country. So for a long time, Kingsville has been at the forefront of education in the College of Sciences and Engineering. So that was very important to me at the time. And once I got to school, I think it just all came together. I had great friends. It was a great coaching staff. We had a pretty solid record. We had some wins and losses, but the friendships I made while I was there was really, really good. But one of the things why I started to struggle and have a challenge is when I stopped playing basketball. And maybe some of your coaches have had the same experience, and maybe you will have this experience once you get to your senior year. It was, what next? So I had a lot of questions about when I was going to graduate, because being a student athlete, you can't always take all your core courses. So I still had almost a year left to graduate after I stopped playing basketball. And then I think I went through like an identity crisis, because my whole life had been regimented around, I knew when I was going to practice, I knew where we were going to go. Um, when we traveled on Wednesdays, got back on, late Saturdays or Sundays. My whole life was routine. And so after basketball, when I had my life to myself, it was challenging. I had to figure out what to do with my free time. I had to make new friends because all my friends were athletes. And once we kind of started going our separate ways, I started to struggle with that. So those are some of the things I want you to kind of think about as you kind of progress through your college career. And then also some of the things that were important was my GPA. Once I started getting into my 3,000 and 4,000 level courses, getting ready to graduate, I had to think about, was my GPA high enough to get the job I wanted? And one of the things that I experienced while I was in school is I had my daughter, and that set me, I had a setback. So there was a whole semester after I came back where in order to be eligible, I had to stay enrolled, but I think I got D's and incompletes in almost every course, and I had to retake them all. So always consider your GPA is, as you know, one of the most important things. But when you're applying for jobs, that's one of the main things that you're going to be asked is what's your GPA. And after you get your first job, no one really cares what your GPA is, not unless you're going to grad school, but it's the most important thing for your first job. But while I was at Kingsville and being an athlete, take advantage of the opportunities of the robust sponsors and boosters and people who support the program. A lot of them are business owners. They have connections in the field you want to go into, whether it's medicine or engineering or business. There are people who have connections. The alumni have connections. Friends of the alumni have connections. So the people who contribute the most to the university financially also have other resources that they can offer besides money. And that's internships. Some of them own businesses, or they're in decision-making positions within large corporations. So they can help with internships, mentoring, providing guidance. So that's a lot of things that we may not think about when we're just, living the life on campus. So after I graduated, well, which is a funny story. So Career Services was doing an engineering career fair, and I had a low GPA. It was below a 3.0, and that was one of their requirements to getting into the career fair, to interview with all these companies that were around. And I just begged my way in. And once I got in, I just started showcasing my best skills, being very articulate, being very smart, being a go-getter. And there was a recruiter from Raytheon in Houston, and he's like, I really like you. And he looked at the courses that I had, and he's like, man, the manager who sits next to me, she has a person retiring. I'm going to give her your resume. And at the time I was like, yeah, right. Like, it was just, I kind of felt a little hopeless. And that happens a lot when you're trying to get out of school. You're ready to go. You're ready to move on with your life, but you feel your options are limited. But be ready when the opportunities knock, because they will come, and it's your job to be ready. So whether it's your coursework, having volunteer hours, doing projects, the ability to publish any papers or projects within your department, those are all big things. And those are the things I was able to do in light of my GPA that got me a job with Raytheon. And so this year I've celebrated my 21st year at the company, and I have excelled. I've won the Small Business Officer Award, where I'm able to help small businesses gain contracts with the federal government. I won the Executive Excellence Award. I provided a business solution to a problem the company, they didn't even know they had. And now I am the Quality Engineering Manager for Global Logistics and Training. And that's a division of Raytheon where we train every armed force personnel that goes to Iraq and Afghanistan. We provide weapons and weaponry. And one of the big projects I have now is repairing missile launchers and radar guidance systems that are on warships. Prior to that, my first project, I'm sorry, I guess I got a little ahead of myself. The first 17 years working with Raytheon, I worked at, and I still work at NASA here in Houston, where we do the underwater training of astronauts. So I've had a really great career, and none of that would have been possible without my education and support from Kingsville. One of the things I want to stress is trust in your leadership, and that's your coaches and your athletic directors, and understand that they do have your best interest at heart. When they put requirements in place and they put rules in place, it's for a reason, because they've been there, done that. You're not going to tell them anything new that they haven't already experienced or lived themselves. And trust them. They know what they're doing. They've helped numerous students before you. They're going to continue to help. And your success is a testament to what they're doing right or what they're doing wrong. So when you, ladies and gentlemen, go on to graduate and live your productive lives, those are the thank yous of the coaches and the coaching staff. And it's really important, and I know they take it seriously, and they're really invested in your education and in your future. Don't waste an opportunity for a free education. I went to school with a lot of people that had a lot of purpose, a lot of promise, and a lot of potential, but they're sitting at the house doing diddly squat. They're on Facebook doing the woulda, coulda, shouldas. They're back in their hometowns, you know, living and doing what they were doing when they left home because they squandered opportunity. So you have a gift, and take it seriously, because it only comes around once. Very seldom do you get second chances. I've seen quarterbacks get benched and go home because they thought getting high, smoking weed and drinking and partying was more important than studying plays, being in the field house, you know, working out. I've seen people who didn't take going to class seriously, wanting to sleep in. Well, now, you know, with things being virtual, it's a little different. But take this opportunity seriously, because 10, 15 years down the road, if you don't have your degree, you're going to really wish you would have. And it's going to be that much harder for life when life takes over, for you to accomplish the things that you could do when you're, you know, 18, 19, 20, and 21. Because let me tell you, after you graduate, all you're going to do the rest of your life is work, unless you have the next great app, you win lotto, or you marry well. You know, I don't know, but you know, everybody says there's nothing certain in life but death and taxes, and that's it. One of the most important things, I think everything is some of the most important things, but for me, being an athlete, you're given an advantage in the workplace because you understand leadership, you understand perseverance, and you understand what it takes to get it done. Athletes have a natural ability to go above and beyond. And believe me, when you're in corporate America or you're working for the school district, those are things that are just innately within you, and it comes out. Like, I hate to lose more than I love to win. And I love a challenge at work. So I'm always volunteering for extra things. I've given so many free hours to the company over 20 years, but it's benefited me in when the big projects come around, the things with big name recognition, I get recognized, or I get chosen to participate on the big projects, whether they're proposals. I mean, I've been in rooms where they're making billion-dollar deals, and I'm excited to be a part of that. And those opportunities opportunities were afforded to me because I was tenacious. I was very forthcoming and very vocal about what I wanted. And those are qualities that are really inherent in a lot of athletes. You will experience opportunities to be in leadership. And then also, you're going to have to experience leading by following. You're going to be in situations where you're going to have to be a follower of someone who is probably really not a good leader. Not everybody that you work for or work with knows how to work in a team. I know people, they're really smart, but they can't conversate their way out of a paper bag because they don't have people skills and communication skills. So being in your dynamic college environment with the team, you have to learn to get along with everyone, whether they can pass the ball or shoot. Everybody's got to know the play. And that will translate seamlessly into the workplace, and it's going to click. And sooner or later, you're going to have your opportunity to lead and manage people, which is going to be one of the hardest things you have to do. I was first promoted to management at the age of 30. And the people I were managing were engineers who'd been working 25, 30 years. Some of them were my parents' age. Then being a woman and being a minority, I was like, oh my God, how do I motivate people who don't look like me, who were not a part of the same generation, to perform and work for me? So I've been tested in leadership over the last 14 or 15 years. So I had to do a lot of professional development on how to communicate, knowing my audience, who am I talking to, treating everyone differently, which is a little difficult, but it's very necessary to be effective. So those are some of the skills that you can work on now and that you're probably already experiencing, whether you're the team captain and you have to motivate everyone, when the game is on the line, or you're the freshman and you're in charge of racking the balls and picking up the sweaty uniforms off the floor. I've been there, done that, because coming out of high school, I felt like I was a high school hero and left on a float and was all excited. And then I got to college and I was nobody. Nobody cared. I had an opinion and nobody wanted to listen. So I had to decide what to do with that energy and that information. And it's absorb everything, be a fly on the wall. And when it's time for you to step up and be a leader, you can do that. Coach Estelle and I go back a long time, back to 96 when I first got to campus. He was on the men's basketball team and I was on the women's basketball team, and we just had a fun time. I used to babysit his daughter, Jasmine, a little bit. His wife, Anna, she was a cosmetology student at the time, and she would do my hair and my makeup for tests and things like that. And I used to confide in Johnny a lot when I was having a hard time or going through some hard things. So if you're out there and you feel that you're all alone or you don't understand, your coaches and the people in leadership at Kingsville, let me tell you, they have the right people in the right positions because they've been through the things that you're going through and they can relate. So some of the things that are apparent, especially with COVID, is depression. If you are feeling depressed or you're having any type of mental health issues, reach out to your coaching staff. They're there to help you and provide the resources. The university has the resources, because if you don't, you're going to find yourself kind of in a bad place real quickly. If you're having social issues, reach out. They've been there, done that. There's nothing new happening on that campus that didn't happen and that we didn't go through 20 and 25 years ago. I'm aging myself now, kind of thing. So don't be afraid and don't be shy. And I know sometimes it's hard to confide in someone that you're close to because you may feel like you're being judged, but why not confide in someone who really cares about your well-being? So, remember those things. I've had the opportunity also to work with a lot of interns, and our interns, luckily, they come from HBCUs. So I am very well versed with attending a minority serving institute and then walking into corporate America. So here are some of the things that I really want you to take away that we pay attention to. We Google you. When you apply for jobs and internships, y'all make it so easy for us to find out things about you that are not on your resume. We Google you. We will ask for your social media passwords, and we will go into your accounts and disqualify you from jobs. So if you're out there having a hot girl summer and dropping it like it's hot and all that fun stuff, do not use your name or have a ghost page. Make up a name, because Annalise Dominguez, we will Google you. Autumn Jones, we will Google you. Mackenzie Mays. Miss Lake, you're laughing the hardest. I'm Googling you first. Matter of fact, let me do that right now. I got two computers. I've worked so much. Let's see what I can find out. So take care of your private life. It's a private life for a reason. My daughter's 23, and I'm like, Kendall, come here. What are you doing? You know, political comments. 2020, the last 4 years, whether you are conservative or a liberal, or you, you know, support LGBT, all these different things, it's important. Be active in the political process, but censor your comments in social media, because once it's out there in cyberspace, it's attached to you, and there are things that can disqualify you. It may not be fair, but the job market is very, very competitive, and we're looking for the best and the brightest people. And if you make it easy for us not to give you a job, we won't. Don't lie about things on your resume, because sometimes we may just pick up the phone and call those references. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, but be very, very honest. It may take us a while to catch on because we are not as tech savvy as the new generation. So you guys are a couple steps ahead of us, but we're catching up. Our interns teach us. While you're there on campus, take advantage of any volunteer opportunities, especially to give back, to maybe mentor high school students. That goes a long way in your job searching with resumes. And then also, if you apply for a job that requires a security clearance, you're giving your employer an opportunity to monitor your social media. So that's very important. So all my social media, Raytheon has my passwords. When I applied for my security clearance, they also investigate significant others and friends and parents. So if you have aligned yourself with someone who's doing something questionable, it may impact your future. So be aware of that. Let's see, what else can I tell you that's really, really going to help you? Oh, your credit. Take care of your credit. If you want a company expense account or a company credit card, because if you're walking around with a 400 credit score, it may make it hard for you to get a job in some places. Not all places, but some places. And then also start branding yourself. You can brand yourself through LinkedIn pages, professional organizations, sororities, fraternities, academic fraternities. Those go a long way. You guys are I guess the internet generation, so start marketing yourself now. Let's see. Be intentional with your efforts. Do something on purpose and with a purpose. Don't just be out there living. Have a plan, and if you don't have a plan, seek out a mentor. There should be mentors made available to you through some of the boosters and the alumni. And if not, reach into your coaching organization, and they can help you find mentors in the career fields that you want to go into. And be ready to grow. If you're comfortable where you are, that means you're not growing. So if you want the big time job with the big time money, be prepared to work more than 40 hours a week and not get a pat on the back. Don't overpromise and underdeliver. That's probably the biggest thing. Getting out there, saying you can do all these great things, interviewing well, but you don't put in effort worth busting a grape in the workplace does not take you far. It kind of leaves you right there in the cube where you start. And one of the 10th time, I'm gonna say one of the most important things, or maybe the 100th, is there is no job too small. When I started at Raytheon, I was just a junior engineer, and I would pass by the big fancy glass conference rooms and see the presentations on the board, and I would say, man, I want to be in there. And I was like, how do I get in that conference room? I didn't even know what they were doing. So I would just go in and be like, hey, can I take meeting minutes? Can I take notes? I started reviewing proposals, highlighting volumes and volumes and volumes of engineering books for no reason. But I was making myself a part of a process and doing things that other people didn't want to do. And then the next time a similar project came around, they were like, oh, we'll go get Sherie. And so like 20 years later, it's paid off. Now I'm looking for an intern to make copies and highlight and scan documents. But those are the type of things that I started on my way up the ladder. Social activities. Now that's a big one. You're in college and it's the time of your life. It's important for you to have fun because you won't get these years back, but take care of these years. These years will shape your future. Making mistakes at this point in your life can be very detrimental, and then they can derail you. I remember, and I'm sorry, I can't remember her name, but there was a girl who lived across the hall in the dorm, and she was involved in a drinking and driving accident. Be careful with that. My freshman year at Blinn, we were going to College Station, and it's about maybe 50 miles between Brenham and A&M, and we decided we were going to drink. And we got in the car and had an accident, and the car rolled over 3 times. And the only thing that saved our life was we landed in a ditch of mud. And right then, right there, I decided I was not going to put my life in anyone's hands because we just wanted to go out and party. So be cognizant, you all are adults, you're of adult age. So no drink, and I tell my daughter, no drinking and driving. Don't get in the car with someone who's drinking and driving because it's not that important. Party when you get there. And now with Uber there, Uber home. And also, I had my daughter when I was in Kingsville. I found out I was pregnant probably about 2 weeks before I turned 21. And that not only affected my life, it affected the lives of my teammates because it was untimely and unforeseen. So young men and young ladies, you're in college, you're adults, adult things are going to happen, but also take care of yourselves because you may get something that you take with you for a lifetime. And when you're put into very stressful situations and you're not prepared, there are consequences and repercussions. You know, I was very lucky. I had a lot of family support. I had a lot of support from my coaches, but my story isn't everyone's story. So just take care of yourselves and take care of your bodies. Those are the only ones that you're going to get. And besides my degree, here's my daughter. This is what I left Kingsville with. I love her. She's great. She just left to go get me some frozen yogurt. So I have a little maid and someone to run my errands, but it did change some of the things that I was doing. in 1997, instead of competing in the Miss Texas pageant, I was getting ready to have a baby. And then when I got back to campus, it was just like, oh my God, how do I get back in shape to fulfill my obligation I made to the university? So I had changed my life in what I wanted to do into something that was totally foreign to me. So I was an engineering student. I was on the women's basketball team, and I was a new mom, and I didn't know how to juggle any of those things. So I'm just telling you that those things and those risks are out there. And as a young adult, you know, just take care of yourselves so you can have a productive future. So other than that, that's about all the stuff I have to talk about. I know I've kind of rambled probably on and on and on. So are there any questions? I hope there are questions that I can answer, or I could just make something up.
All right. Thank you so much. So yes, if anybody has any questions or comments, feel free to unmute yourself now and ask away. The chat box is also open, so you can put in your question in the chat box if you don't feel like unmuting yourself. Maddie wants to know, what was your favorite project to work on?
My favorite project to work on, let's see. So training astronauts is really, really fun, especially when they know your name. And then they go and they take, we give them memorabilia, they'll fly it in space and they bring it back, like different patches and things. So being a part of the United States space program has been really fun when you get to touch it and feel it. So that's exciting. And probably last year, my most recent favorite project is I got, before the COVID experience, I got to go to Virginia and tour the United States weapons arsenal, where they keep the big guns and the missiles, and just to see how the missiles fit on our launchers and our radar systems. So one of the things we do, we repair the launchers. So if you have a missile, it has to be able to deploy from a ship, otherwise it'll detonate on the ship. And then the radar system tells it where to go, how to get from point A to point B, and when to get there. So you have to be on time. You know, you have to deliver the package to the right place and at the right time. You can't be early, you can't be late. It has to be precise. So having responsibility over systems like that, it's kind of stressful, and it's fun at the same time. Last Friday, my boss called me and said, Sherie, we have a system down in the field. And he's like, do you know anything about this? So I spent the weekend of trying to find where one of our launchers is down and how to get it back to the military. So even though it's stressful, it's kind of fun because you get to make things go boom.
The next question is, oh, it just went away. How do you know that you wanted to explore engineering?
That was, I have a lot of family members who were engineers. So from a young age, I was doing engineering stuff. I'm like really nerdy. I will go to engineering camps in the summer when other people are, you know, at horseback riding or whatever. I'm building bridges and windmills and things like that. So.
Sherie, how are you?
I'm good.
I am so blessed to call you a dear friend. I am so proud of you, and I know our journeys interlapped, and we both have experienced a lot of things that we could have just tucked it in and went back home, but we didn't. And I want you to speak to everybody about, you know, the Kingsville that we grew up, that made us, and how that has helped you in life, how you've taken a part of this university with you in your life to help you professionally and personally, and also as a mother in your endeavors since you left here.
Let's see, is Armstrong still there?
Next subject.
Oh man, well, I used to live next to Armstrong's, and it was the club. I don't know if it's still there. It still may be. So like on Thursday nights, it was just do, 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 do. And I was working at the Easy Serve on, I guess what's that, Kings Boulevard in Santa Gertrudis. I called it the Stop and Rob. Y'all, I got written up 16 times because we weren't supposed to study on the clock. But I'm like, I didn't have any other time to go to the library. So if you wanted some Baskin Robbins, it was free. If you were just nice to me. But Kingsville was a very, to me, a very family oriented place. When we were there, we were really close with the boosters. It was very, it felt like a real safe place for us to be. My parents would come and family would come to campus, and all of the athletes were really close. I could ask any of the coaches on the football team for anything. And is Ruben still there?
Yes,
Yeah,
Ruben's still there.
yeah.
He's still taping ankles. Oh my God.
And giving out ice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ice fixes, you got a headache, ice bath. So yeah, when I first found out I was pregnant, it was just like, there's only a few people that I can tell. So it was my mom, and she was not happy at all. And it was Coach Wilson, and it was Ruben. And talk about a staff who took very good care of me physically and mentally, because I was at such a crossroads in my life about what I wanted to do and how I was going to do it. You know, you think about, I mean, everyone in college is broke. I was eating ramen noodles and frosted flakes and, you know, and things like that, going to the sub. And I think we had Chick-fil-A and a Pizza Hut at the time, so I don't know what's there now. But, you know, there were times when like you were hungry and there were people you could call to get you food, wash your clothes. But for me, I needed someone to really hold my hand through that time, and that I felt that no one understood. And I even played pregnant up until I was about 5 months. I didn't tell anyone until it was to a point I couldn't hide it. And everyone surrounded me with love, and because it was a big decision. I had made a decision to change my life and my daughter's father's life. So it was a very tumultuous time, but I was able to lean on the staff there and not feel judged. So if you're in a situation where you need help, and my decision may not be everyone's decision, but there are resources to help you. Kingsville was also a very fun place. We would, you know, go to Armstrong's, go to the beach, go to the base. We were getting into things we shouldn't have got into. Hey, they already know. It's probably really fun now.
Hey, this is a Christian show.
Oh, okay. Well, let me call Joel Osteen in here. Y'all a old Negro spiritual if I need to. But it's a fun place, and it's a good sized university to where you can transition into your professional career without being overwhelmed by like the big giant schools. I know the engineering program is renowned. It's part of the A&M system. So you know, my degree and my credentials rank up with there from anyone going to UT, A&M, University of Houston. So a degree from Texas A&M, I promise you, is going to get you indoors and through doors. And we have a large alumni. I know it's kind of hard staying connected, and now it's a little easier, but your decision to obtain a degree from Kingsville, I mean, you've put yourself in a really good position. Y'all have any fun questions? I know I'm probably boring. Is there a high demand for minorities in engineering? Yes. So if you are a minority, or even women in the workplace are minority, don't be afraid to be a token. I am the only Black female engineer and have been for 21 years who trains astronauts. I'll be your token any daggum day. Those positions are sought after, and companies, when people say, oh, well, they have a quota, yes, they do. Companies take a lot of pride and they invest a lot of dollars in diversity and making sure they have a diverse workforce. Like I said, our company, they're a Fortune 500 company, but we are required by the federal government to have interns from minority serving institutes such as Kingsville and HBCUs. That really helps break those doors down for minority students and students from minority universities. So those are good things. And anything STEM related, science, math, and technology, is really good. And now computer programming, computer science, you can't go wrong with that. Those are in demand fields. When did you start working for NASA? Well, Miss Lake, I got lucky and my mentor hired me. I started working at NASA in 2000. It's a long time ago. And I am still there now. And matter of fact, I live about 2 miles from Johnson Space Center main gate. So I can ride my golf cart if I had one over to work. Do you still talk to any of your old teammates? Yes, for the first couple years, we were really close. We would talk all the time. And Lori Reese, she broke the NCAA record for 3-pointers. And that was maybe in 2000, I guess about 2000. And I went back to school, but Facebook makes it easier for us to keep in contact. But I do keep in touch with a handful of my old teammates. Yes, I do. Let me tell you, your roommate or your teammate, they're going to be your friends for life. Y'all know each other's secrets, and hold on to those relationships. Yeah, I have friends I've had for, oh my gosh, 23 years. I can keep up with it because I know how old my daughter is, so that makes it easy. So are there any engineering majors in the athletic department?
Yes, we have quite a few. So Maddie, who asked a question, and Brianna, who asked a question, are both engineering majors. I don't remember, and I apologize, ladies, but I don't remember which engineering programs you're pursuing. And then we have quite a few. We probably have close to 50 overall in the department that are in at least one of our engineering programs.
Okay, because when I was in school, I think it was myself and Tito Oliveras, we were engineering majors.
Yeah, we have a mechanical engineer as well.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Will, I forgot about you.
So
Okay,
Sherie,
yeah, I work with mechanical engineers every day. Our mechanical engineers, they design and develop mock-ups. So everything that's on the space station orbiting the Earth, we have an exact replica of, and we train the astronauts in a pool that's about the size of a football field that's 40 feet deep. So being underwater is the closest you get to weightlessness. So that's what our mechanical engineers do, specifically here in Raytheon, and the other ones do the design and development of the missiles and launchers and all the other stuff. We have a big need for IT in our cybersecurity. That's a really huge emerging field. So if you have any IT majors, that's great. And then also like the local school districts, you guys should be able to get jobs, 2 or 3. You have a job to spare and hand out to your friends if you're an IT major right now with having virtual classrooms. They're having to upgrade systems and servers just to handle. I want to know what's so funny, Annalise
So Tyrese just
and
asked if,
JD. Hold on. Let me see who else is over here. I'm trying to be all serious, and y'all are like everyone's having fun but me.
Here's a real question. Are we going to be able to use one of those missile launchers?
You know
Because
what?
I think, yeah, I mean, we need a test site. So we got plenty of airspace and land.
Well, you know, Raytheon has a, we had a contract down south and it was a radar. Oh, so this is pretty cool. So one of our systems, we have a radar. There was one in Kingsville, there was one in Guam and in Australia. And so those were the 3 different regions, and it helps the missiles go, you know, across regions. So Kingsville has been very, very important down there on the air station. But yeah, if you want to use one, yeah, I got you. Now, the thing is, we have a missile, but I don't have access to a warhead. So I can take the warhead from point A to point B, but somebody else makes it blow up. So.
We can work with it.
Yeah, we can work with that.
Yeah, we work with that. Yeah.
Let's see. Are aliens real? Because my teammates think they helped build the pyramid. Yeah, I mean, anything's possible, but no. The Egyptians built the pyramids. How far have you needed to travel for your job? Well, because of COVID, I thought, man, I was so excited. I thought I was going to get to go to South Korea. It didn't happen. And we do have some equipment that needs to be serviced in the Emirates, but they try not to send women to the UAE just because of the cultural differences. So I've got to travel over the US, but there's no international travel. Do you have any advice on gathering internships? So on internships, Google, all companies have a lot of internships, diversity programs, programs for women, programs for minorities, programs for different majors. Even if you looked at sites like LinkedIn, they, and under their jobs, they have a whole section of internships. Let's see, any other questions I see? Yeah, the alien question was funny.
Here's my last question. When you come into campus?
Oh, so if you're allowed to have visitors, I would love to come anytime. When am I invited?
Always. You have a place to stay here.
Can I stay for free?
Oh, you know it. We'll charge your company.
Okay, because my daughter's getting ready to go to medical school.
Wow.
I'm just gonna stay broke my whole life, but it's all right.
We love you, Sherie.
I love you more. How quickly after graduation did you actually start your career? I got hired a week before graduation. I had an interview. I flew out to Houston, which was lucky, and I accepted a job. And then I still had to come back and pass all my finals. So for transfer students, make sure you get with the registrar real early, because the week of graduation, I thought I was not going to graduate. One of my math classes didn't transfer correctly from junior college, so I just had to get the dean of the engineering department, Dr. Rye, at the time to sign off on it, because I wasn't staying another semester. So if you're a graduating senior, start now and making sure everything has transferred. Don't leave it up to the registrar to do that for you, because you could get caught in line when you're practicing to walk the stage or the virtual stage now and be stuck here another semester. So any hard questions besides the pyramids? Have I ever been on a rocket? Here at NASA, we have a rocket park where we have one of the space shuttles. So you could go in that at Space Center Houston. I see my mic isn't working, probably a good thing, but how has being a student athlete helped you in the workplace? I just think I'm smarter than everybody. all the time. And my first 2 years, there was this guy, Dwayne, who wanted to challenge me in basketball. And I just would never play because if you're a college athlete, you don't want to play with someone who's played unorganized basketball because they do all this and they just want to slap at you. And so he challenged me to a one-on-one game, and everyone from the office, NASA has a gym. So we went over there and then I beat him. So yeah, that's how being a student athlete has helped me. And then also I can have a bit of a cocky attitude at work, especially when you're with people, and I work with, no offense guys, all men. So, I sometimes I just had to go get a pair and take them with me to work. And then, I put them in the closet when I get back home. But that's just part of being a woman in the workplace. You have to have confidence, and and sometimes you have to let the guys think they're smarter than what they are. But we got this, girls. Yeah, I see you frowning, Johnny. It's okay.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have any other questions before we wrap it up for the evening? Last chance.
Well, I want to thank everyone for inviting me. Hannah and Johnny have my contact information. If anyone needs any career advice or help, I would love to help anyone as best I can. Oh, well, here's a question. What was the toughest challenge you faced throughout your student athlete career? Figuring out the what next. After basketball, your life is very regimented and structured. And when, the university gives it back to you to manage, that was a little difficult figuring that out. And then entering in the workforce as a single mom. I had made a whole life that I had to be responsible for. So some of the things I wanted to do at 21 and 22 and 23, while my friends were, going to Cabo and having fun and happy hour, I was, at the daycare and doing homework. And I've probably spent thousands of dollars at Walmart and Hobby Lobby on poster board and map colors and those things. So that was probably the biggest challenge of trying to establish a career and be a parent and kind of figure out the what next, like all at the same time. But believe me, if I can do it, you can do it. Life is tough, but you just have to be flexible enough to roll with the punches. And having the support that I've had from Kingsville, I mean, it takes you a long way. So thank you for inviting me to speak with you. I want to extend all my well wishes on everyone having a great season and staying safe. I want to come out and check out some games and kind of get back engaged with the university and help any way I can. And I love you guys a lot, and thanks for thinking of me.
Well, thank you so much for agreeing to participate. You did a fantastic job. We all greatly appreciate it. I did record the session, so it'll also get sent out for all of the students to watch as many times as they want.
All right. And remember, y'all stay off of Instagram. Oh, you're welcome. Next time I want to know what's funny. I want to be on the inside joke too.